Olá, tudo bem? Aqui é o Jorge, mais um episódio de Case of Distrust, episódio 6. E, como todo começo de semana, a gente tem um parágrafo falando do que a gente fez semana passada. Então vamos lá. Sam Shipman had told me Green's letter was a fake. He said he'd phoned me at Southern Coffee when he got a chance to look into Green's past. I still had to chase up Green's bootlegging. Show. E a gente tava aqui na sinuca, mas eu não tinha conseguido falar muito, né? Deixa eu ver. Tiny Paul. Eu falei com o Tiny Paul, né? Não me ajudou muita coisa. Me ajudou. Deixa eu ver minhas notas. As evidências. O que o Tiny Paul falou? Não, statements. Tiny Paul gave Green cash, got others watching Green, and didn't send the letter. Tá bom. Rapaz, eu vou lá pro Southern Coffee de novo, sinceramente, porque eu não sei, a gente já leu isso aí, né? Porque eu não sei o que fazer. Então vamos lá, falar de novo, né? Com os taxistas sempre. We made some idle banter. He was a jovial, middle-aged man, joking and laughing often. The conversation turned to my profession. A working girl, he said, and his mind hardened slightly. And such a dangerous gig. I told him it wasn't as bad as he probably thought. Well, I'm a bit old-fashioned when it comes to these things. To me, motherhood is the most saintly work. I'm sad many flappers are turning it away. Olha, como eu disse, né? Não se discorda com o taxista. I agreed with him partially. Motherhood is grand, I said. Finding a good husband is the problem. He laughed. Well, with that view, I'm sure you can snag the best of them. Seems most modern girls would rather be secretaries and dance their nights away. Even the married ones. It's no wonder divorce is so common. And what happens to these children of a broken home? Are we giving up our values for a new roaster? I'd hate to see the young uns, after us do, might burn the entire world down. Okay, we pulled to my destination, I nodded thanks and left the taxi cab. A mesma coisa, né? A gente já leu isso. Deixa eu falar com meu parça. Né? Mesma coisa. What's in you, kid? He asked. Sat on my regular stool and rapped my knuckles on the bar. Any messages, Frankie? I asked him. Nothing yet, Miss Chief. Frankie chuckled. Shipman supposed to call you about Green? What have you got so far? No real breaks to speak of. Well, alright. I'll let you know, and if this Shipman gives me a call, I thank him. What else you got? Deixa eu falar com ele do bootlegging. Vamos ver. I wondered aloud how I could get more dirt on Green's bootlegging. Friend thought about it too. He offered, well, Green's working with Tiny Paul on this scheme. If I were to buy it from a new source, I had to try it. He had a taster. I continued his thought. So there's likely a sample of green stuff lying around a tin spoon. That would make sense. Maybe I can ask Paul about whatever booze I find in there. Frankie nodded. He thanked him for the advice. Interessante, eu não tinha pensado nisso. Acho que a gente não tinha nem essa opção, né? E, bom, deixa eu falar sobre o passado do Green, né? Vai que... Still had no idea what to make of Green's past. Frankie... eu já falei com ele disso. Perdão. E vamos ver sobre o que o Tiny Paul falou. Tiny Paul gave Green cash. I pointed to something in my book, but Frankie's response was nothing memorable. Você vê que eu tô meio sem saber o que fazer, né? He got others watching green. I asked Frankie about something in my notes, but his response got me no closer to solving the case. Ok. Então vamos voltar lá pro Tin Spoon. Agora pensando em saber um pouco mais sobre o que o Green contrabandeia, né? Importante. Vamos falar. I exchanged forgettable banter with the driver until he asked, "Hear the latest news about Harry Doherty?" I didn't want to talk about politics. I was too tired for old news and dead presidents. I shook my head, closed my eyes, and leaned on the window until the trip ended. Ok, né? Parece que até o jogo tá querendo parar de conversar, né? Mesma coisa, né? Aí, bar's still closed, but you can't go up. Right up the stairs. Deixa eu falar mais com o Tiny Paul. Anything else to tell me about Green? I asked. This again, he chuckled. Look, if you want something better, ask me specific. Vamos lá, eu quero eu quero saber mais sobre o bootlegging, né? Asked more about bootlegging, but all that got me was a frown. Paul refused to give any new leads on that front. Tá bom. Então não... Deixa eu ver sobre o novo bootleg scheme que ele tem de Vancouver. Mesma coisa. Então tá bom. Então talvez eu volte pra casa do Green, né? E ver sobre a esposa do Green não deve estar bem ainda, mas the driver began talking baseball. You know, he started, my bet is that the Seals could play in the majors. His voice had a high pitch and was just nasally enough to be irritating. Keep listening. Between Shea, Geary, and McQueenie, we've got enough guys to know how to hurl the ball. And our middle order, Wayner, Walsh, and Montag, is unstoppable. I will tune out. He droned about the Seals for a felt like an eternity. My eyes glazed over and I was nearly asleep when he finally shouted, "We're here!" Show. Mesma coisa, né? A gente já ouviu. Knocked on the front door. Será que é Laudanum? Sim. Rapaz, hein? Estou meio preso. Estou meio sem saber o que fazer. Talvez então, ó. Eu vá pro stable. Eu tô sentindo que tem alguma coisa lá que eu não... que eu não tô sabendo. Tô lá aqui de novo, né? He was young, not a teenager, but not far off. The redness in his face and the mean scowl told me he was angry. Don't much like driving taxi cabs? I offered. He looked quizzically at me over his shoulder before understanding what I meant. No, lady, I like it right enough. Just some bozo for you were in here was giving me hell, 'cause I looked like the boy his daughter is going with. Went off about how my generation was ruining America. The scumbag don't know jack. It sounds like you know more, I asked. I'm no genius, he replied, but you talk to anyone from the last century, they'll tear off your ear for just being young. How they get so high, I wondered. Given the world in the 1890s, like they run like a smooth running roadster. Then what they do? Bash it on every curb in sight. Their greed, their war, their politics. Now they give us a ruined clunker and they're mad at our manners when we grab the keys. Eu concordo. I agree with them. The Great War was the hardest fought at home and abroad, I said. The old man who put us there had some nerve. He replied hotly, and after those years, they tell us to get in line. It's a bum deal to me, sister. We're in the information age, and the news of the world is scrap. They're just angry we can see their folly. Aye, the taxi cab rolled a stop. Anyhow, the driver said, thanks for letting me blow off steam. Have a nice day, miss. I opened the car door and stepped out. Vamos falar com o meu parça, né? Redstone Stable. Vamos lá. Well, Miss Malone, he smiled. Will there be anything else? Eu quero saber um pouco mais sobre o passado dele. What do you know about Green's past? I questioned. Only that he has constantly skirted the law. I nodded. Ok. Talvez um pouco mais sobre o bootlegging? Green claims you bootleg, I stated bluntly. Porque ele também é verdade. As Green didn't waver in his response. Would you hang me on Connor Green's claims? I may partake in some gambling, and I may have a talent for it, but it is nothing illegal, I assure you. And you know nothing about Green's own bootlegging? I asked. Stable shook his head. I doubted he would ever answer me a question straight. Well, Miss Malone, he smiled. Will there be anything else? Deixa eu ver, da Greenhouse. Eu já falei sobre o trench coat, né? Identical to Lewis's. Ah, sim. Deixa eu ver o que mais eu posso falar com ele. Às vezes não tem nada, né? Não. Algum statement. Ah, Tiny Paw. Deixa eu falar sobre o... tá bom. E o que ele falou do statement? Assim, claims he doesn't bootleg. Pode crer. Não. Aqui. Tô meio perdidinho, né? I showed him something in my notes. Bom, nothing now, I said, and turned back to the barber shop. Ok. Difícil, hein, rapaz? Eu vou voltar agora, então, pro Southern Coffee. Pra ver sobre o... não, pro Southern Coffee? Vou pro Southern Coffee. Deixa eu ver. Talked, we began out of chatter, but the driver kept stifling laughter. When I asked him why, he apologized and said just got out of a Felix the Cat showing. They're running all of them back to back at the Orpheum. Best time I've spent. We talked about Felix the Cat collection, including his favorite, Felix in Hollywood. Can you believe they got Charlie Chaplin, and Douglas Fairbanks in a cartoon? We came to my destination and he was still laughing. I stepped out of the taxicab with a smile on my face. Show. Só falar com o Frank sobre o Redstone Stable, falando que ele não... que ele não bootlegs. E vamos ver, né? Então imaginei que não fosse aqui mesmo. Mas eu tô meio perdido. Na verdade, deixa eu ver de novo rapidinho, né? Se ele tem uma mensagem. Nope. Show. Never mind. Ok. Eu vou ir pra outro lugar, talvez agora, mas eu já vou acabar. É pra lá que eu tenho que ir. Acho que agora eu posso falar com o Tiny Paw sobre o Redstone Stable. Ai, perdão. Vamos lá. I glanced towards the driver and noticed the right side of his face was covered by a tin plate, painted to match his light skin tone. The set in the plate was a glass eye. I didn't want to bring up the disfigurement. We exchanged a few pleasantries, and I was silent in the back seat until we reached my destination. Bom, eu vou parar o episódio aqui. E no próximo episódio eu falo com o Tiny Paul sobre mais coisas, né? Sobre o Redstone Stable, por exemplo. Então espero que você esteja gostando. A gente tá um pouco perdido, mas tá tudo certo. No próximo episódio a gente já faz mais coisas. Então até a próxima. Um beijão.